Today we are going to be analyzing some ADU floor plans. There are so many designs out there, it's overwhelming. And one of the things that I have loved to do since I was a child is analyze floor plans for efficiencies, inefficiencies, redesign ideas, the flow of this space, and then also storage ideas where you could actually plan out those storage options on the front end. Today we're going to be looking at 4 floor plans, 2 that I think are efficient and then 2 that I think are inefficient with some changes that you may want to take with those inefficiencies. I'm going to take this actual floor plan right here. I've redesigned it with some tweaks that I think are going to improve just the flow and function of the property. So the target audience for this video is those who are building a detached ADU, brand new build, and they're having to pick that floor plan from just hundreds of options. I wanted to choose some floor plans that could be used for something like the garage conversion just because of the squareness and the design. So let's get into these floor plans. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you learn a lot. My goal for this video is to help you be able to look at a plan and hopefully highlight and identify things that work, things that don't work, things that may be inefficient and of course will cost you money because inefficiency costs money. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Erin. I am a real estate agent and I am passionate about alternative housing. I create content to help you learn more about ADUs, tiny homes, and maximizing those smaller spaces through 2 different YouTube channels. I'll link the other one in the description. So if you're here looking to add a rental, downsize, or house a loved one, you came to the right place. Let's get into today's topic, and I want you to just hear what I'm thinking when I'm looking at these structures. I've looked at thousands of floor plans. Now, I have to put a disclaimer. I am not a licensed architect or a draftsman. I just love to draw floor plans. I want to start off with an efficient floor plan and then go into some of the storage options just so you can have a visualization of some of the ways that you could actually increase the function of a space without increasing the size of the space. First off, why is efficient design important? The first thing is it saves money. If you have an inefficient design, you're going to spend more money. It's just a fact. It's also going to create a smoother flow throughout the living space. It also allows you to build in smart storage from the start. So you can plan out some of these things that you want to include in the initial design. Efficient design is going to support mobility for a variety of needs and everyday function. You don't want to get stuck with, I can't open the fridge and the dishwasher and the stove because they all would run into each other. I have actually rented an apartment that I would consider a tiny home because it was so small. And I could not open the fridge and the stove and the dishwasher at the same time. It was so inefficient. And of course, we want to make sure we're ensuring accessibility for all needs. If this space is going to be for an aging parent, you want to make sure the future mobility is taken care of. If they have to use a walker or a scooter, a wheelchair, some kind of device, you may want to take that into consideration to build that from the start because you will save a ton of money instead of having to modify it later. And then the last thing is that efficient design just brings peace and comfort to a space. You can't prove it, it just does. So first of all, what is an ADU? In case you're completely new here and have no idea what ADU stands for, this stands for Accessory Dwelling Unit. It's a secondary housing unit on the same lot as a main residence. So you got 2 houses on the same lot. Some people use it for extra living space. They may want rental income, either short-term rental like Airbnb or long-term. They may also utilize that space if they want to house a loved one, so an aging parent, a young adult, possibly use it for multi-generational living. That's becoming more popular just because housing is becoming more expensive. Some examples of ADUs, a garage or a bonus space conversion. You might put a tiny house in the backyard. You may just add on that second living space to your home. You've probably heard an ADU called a granny flat, backyard cottage, mother-in-law suite, casita, a guest space. So it has lots of names, but same purpose. So let's start off with our first floor plan. I'm actually going to tell you what I like about each floor plan and then also what I don't like, things that we could change, and then storage options. We'll go through those on the initial floor plan and then I'll actually show you that up next. So hopefully you can visualize it for the upcoming plans. So this plan has a very small footprint. You can see it's 16 by 24. Some of the ways you can make floor plans efficient, you want to minimize the number of interior walls. And so those are these black lines inside. You can see this particular plan has really two main walls and just some smaller walls to create that closet. So this is really efficient. And having the plumbing on one wall or very close together is another way for efficiency. Now, this plan also includes a bunch of windows, which of course you can add or take away, but it is going to bring in a lot of natural light into this open space. And another thing you won't see is hallways. Some people feel hallways are wasteful. It just depends on how it's being utilized. I'll show you in other plans where there's a hallway that's actually very functional. So things that I would change. So I see some opportunity in this one. I don't know why they have a window right here. This plan doesn't include a washer and dryer as far as you can see on the symbols. So I'd opt to put it in this space right here. Another thing is you want to make sure these doorways are going to be wide enough for someone to be able to fit through with a wheelchair if your plan has a need for that accommodation. And then also this area, I'm assuming this is a water heater. I've never seen that symbol before. It seems odd right here. I'd likely opt for some type of tankless so that you could actually put that somewhere on the wall. And I would move this shower. I'd probably throw that on the back wall. Maybe if you had room for a tub, you'd have to see the dimensions. Another thing that I'm seeing in this plan is closets. Not too big. Now, maybe someone doesn't need a lot of storage, but for access, you're going to be forced to put your bed in this space right here because you want to have enough room to get to the bed, get out the room, get to the closet. So in this plan, I see a lot of opportunities for some creative storage. So let's go through those, and then I want to show you some clips of what that looks like. The first thing is going to be a pull-down dining table. If you're familiar with the Murphy bed, which I would put absolutely right here, pull it down, pick it back up during the day. There's also Murphy dining table, and so you could shuffle these windows and have space to mount it on the wall. You could likely mount your TV somewhere right here on a swivel. Now, because this kitchen doesn't have a lot of counter space, you could consider possibly a rolling island, and that would give you more counter space, cabinetry, and then be able to push it out the way whenever you didn't need it. Another thing you could do in this space, if you wanted to have more storage for food, is you could do a rolling pantry. Now, in this bathroom, not a whole lot of space, right? It's very efficient, but see this wall right here? There are studs in the wall, and some people choose to take that space between the studs and put shelves. So that could be something you consider doing on the bathroom side of this wall. So I actually want to show you what some of those storage ideas look like. The pull-out pantry, let's look at that one first. This just slides out. And so the thing about small spaces is you want to use the vertical space, not just horizontal. So this would be a great option for that pantry. Now the rolling island, you can see here, this one, very functional. It's got drawers and doors. This one actually has a leaf that you pull out for seating, kind of like a bar area. So that's another idea. The swivel TV, it's just a bracket you put on the wall, and it allows you to move your TV around. So that just opens up your layout options. Now the Murphy bed, you've probably seen this. It's a bed that just folds down from the wall. And yes, I promise you they are comfortable. So look at the space that it frees up whenever this thing is folded up. Now let's look at this Murphy dining table. This is a one piece, so you don't mount it to the wall. Some designs actually mount to the wall. Let's look at this transform. It's got additional storage, some cubbies. Oh, I see some wine glasses. You open it up and it starts folding out. It's got space for two. The chairs are hidden, and then it even opens up to give you space for two more people. So you can see how functional that is, or you can put it away. Now, shelving, don't forget about options with the corners. You can really utilize this space efficiently, especially in a corner, even if you had like a sofa under here. More shelving ideas. I love this one for narrow hallways. If you do have them, to just put display stuff up, things that are important to you. And you can see it's about 2.5 inches off of the wall, so it's not very intrusive. This one is using the space in between the studs. And so you can see this is what it looks like afterwards. So that is a super cool way to capture some space. Now, let's look at this next floor plan. This is one that I would call efficient as well. And you can see it's very long and narrow. I wanted to choose one that had a little bit of a different footprint. Now, the things I like about it, it's 16 by 35. So it's really great if you have more of a narrow lot, but you need some depth, and you have that depth available. There's very few walls. You can see these black lines. You've got 4 interior walls, really just outlining that bathroom and closet space. You've got all the plumbing on the same wall, so it's efficient. And there's actually a lot of light in this space. Some of the changes I would make would be, first of all, these are very odd numbers, 16.5 by 35. Lumber comes in even numbers, right? 8, 10, 12. So I'd switch it up. I'd make it 16. So I'd shave off a little bit of width, and then I'd elongate it a little bit and add another foot just so we can get those really good, efficient dimensions. Now, as far as the layout goes, I didn't change anything except this kitchen. I was not in love with this kitchen. I think it's going to impact mobility. When you walk in, you're basically running into this countertop, or you can run into the table. It's just not a good first kind of impression. And I feel like there's a lot of wasted space in this kitchen. This window right here, not in love with it. So you can see on this side, I actually took the kitchen, scrapped everything, and actually chose to put it on this wall. And then I also moved the windows a little bit. I flipped the door so it's more inviting when you walk in. And you can see this small yellow area. That's that rolling pantry that I think would be a good addition. You can see this kitchen has very little possibility for upper cabinets. I wanted to include just some more upper cabinets. This space right here, if you wanted to put that Murphy table, or you could put your TV, have it on a swivel. So you can see here, I swapped out the regular door for a pocket door. Same with the bathroom. Changed up the bathroom design just a little bit. I actually made this bathroom a little wider, just so when a person is in there with mobility issues, you're still going to have space to turn around and move throughout. Now, you can also see I changed the washer and dryer. It's functionally difficult to get to this washer and dryer. So I actually moved it to the hallway. So now you have this whole space to move around, do your laundry and whatnot. So those are our efficient plans. Let's look at an inefficient plan. What I do like about it, it is very spacious in the main living area. That's going to be important. There's very few walls. Again, you have this long wall, and then we have the walls outlining the closet and bathroom. Now, things that I don't like, the plumbing, way too far. You've got plumbing on this wall, then you have to go way over here to the entire other side of the space. I also would make an improvement and add a lot more windows. This main living area is going to be very dark with just this one little tiny window. This is a set of French doors. You could have the full glass French doors, but some people find those are less secure. I would also encourage you to make sure these doorways are wide enough. It's a pretty tight turn. You have to basically make a 90-degree angle to get into your bedroom. And then this is kind of a zigzag into the bathroom. Not a lot of storage in the bathroom, so you could utilize that space between the studs and build in some storage. You've got plenty of options for layout in here because you basically have all these empty walls. So you've got a lot of opportunity for shelving, if you want to put a Murphy table. Now, for this plan to make it more efficient, if you actually took this entire kitchen area and swapped it for over here, even if you put a little L area with some extra counter space, that would be more efficient. That would significantly improve this plan. I also think there's a lot of windows in this bedroom. I feel like they put all the windows in the bedroom and they forgot them in the main area. So this is the last floor plan I want to share with you. Some of the things I like about it, again, very few walls. There's a very large kitchen. The bathroom is very efficient. You can see there's really good flow. There's space to turn around in case you're in a wheelchair. There's no hallway, so we have absolutely no wasted space. Now, things I would change about it. Of course, you got to do something different with the plumbing. This is just going to add cost to your project. Now, one thing about this kitchen is I just absolutely do not like corner cabinets. I feel like it's the black hole of your kitchen and things just get lost and you find them 10 years later. So I'm just not a big fan of corner cabinets. I would make sure these doorways are wide enough. Now let's talk about these French doors. I feel like you walk in and you just run into the counter. I would scrap it and just put a single door. French doors cost more. I'd actually just leave this one right here. But again, I don't love this full print at all. there's just too many changes that I would do, and it is significantly inefficient. So that wraps it up. We went through 4 floor plans. We looked at layouts that were inefficient, layouts that were efficient, how to redesign and change it up, storage ideas that you can actually pre-plan on the front end to make sure your layout is going to accommodate as much function as possible. I hope that you learned something today. If you want to support my mission to promote tiny homes and ADUs, give the video a like, share it with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you have any thoughts, any questions, ideas, I'd love to hear them. Put those in the comments. I love hearing from you. If you have an ADU story to share, I've got a way to get in touch with me in the description. And check out rearon.com for more tips, resources, and real-world stories. Check out the next video that I picked just for you.